Okay, this is not a Trump video. So if that's what you're looking for, swipe left. That's my normal content, but on the weekends I like to do something a little different. All right, gave everybody time. If you were looking for a Trump video, you've been warned. If you follow my channel, then you know that mainly I talk Trump, but occasionally I talk about the Philippines, and that's what the video is today. I thought that a woman who called me recently was trying to baby trap me. So, want to give you this warning, fellas, about a trick that some Filipinas might use that you want to be aware of. Now, I'm going to say right off the bat, I love the Philippines. I love the Filipino people. I have tons of fun there, but you do need to be careful. Now, last year when I was in the Philippines, I went to Cebu. And if you looked at my content, I talked about a woman I met the day before I was coming home. It's kind of a weird scenario. Star-crossed. Like, we normally wouldn't have interacted for a couple of reasons. I mean, she was only 21, which would be a little young for me. I wouldn't pursue a 21-year-old unless she looks older. And I was a black guy. And this woman hadn't really dated any black guys. She only knew about black people from what she'd seen on TV. But she lived kind of in the mountains of the Philippines. So I don't think she'd actually seen many black people in her lifetime. She just happened to be in Cebu and we happened to meet. We hit it off. You know, we talked for a while. She was way more mature than I was expecting. She seemed like a really good person. It was just bad timing. I met her the day before I was flying back. So, you know, we had our fun, but I wasn't really going to invest any time in that. I just hadn't built enough of a relationship with her. Kind of figured, you know, if there's something long distance that works, okay. If not, no big deal. She called me recently. I went, you know, to the Philippines last year, and we were talking. Now, actually, I shouldn't say she called me because that's not entirely accurate. She WhatsApped me, and we started chatting there. And what she was saying to me was she was in financial distress because she had a kid. Now that got my attention. Like, you have a newborn child. Okay, you know, she's still talking to me, but now I'm assuming that she's calling me to tell me that the kid is mine. So I'm not really listening to what she's saying. I'm starting to do the math. It's like, how old is your kid? Because, you know, I'm assuming she's saying it's my kid and she needs money and all of that. She told me how old the kid was, and it's like, hang on, that's not right. Like, your kid is a couple of months too old for you to say it's mine. And she stopped. She's like, no. Don't misunderstand. It's not your kid. I had a kid by a guy. He was a bum. He skipped out when I was pregnant. And now I'm a single mom. So, okay, now I'm understanding that part of the conversation. But I wasn't understanding why she was calling me. Started probing, like, okay, well, you've got a kid by some other guy. Like, why are you calling me? Basically, she's in financial distress. And it's like, I get it, but why are you calling me? I mean, I'm not your boyfriend, so, you know, why are you looking for me to help out? Here's the thing that I realized that I didn't understand at the time, and it kind of changed the way I looked at that situation. At the time, I thought that we were just hitting it off. I thought, you know, this young woman kind of came out of the blue, just great personality. I like where her head is. All this cool stuff seemed to just fall out of the sky right into my lap. Well, now I realized this wasn't by chance. She was pregnant. She probably just realized she was pregnant shortly before we met. She came to Cebu specifically looking for some older Westerner who could take care of her. I'm thinking that we've just got this great rapport, and I'm realizing, oh, no. You planned this the whole time. You knew the kind of guy you were looking for. You knew exactly the bait to lay out there. What I don't understand is what she was planning to do, hypothetically, if we hit it off, but then I later discovered she was pregnant. I mean, it seems like in her mind, she's hoping that I'd get to know her and we would, maintain our relationship despite the fact that she's having some other guy's kid. And I would just conveniently forget the fact that she was pregnant when she started talking to me and was looking for a stepdad for her child. Now, I don't fault her for what she did. I mean, the Philippines is, it's a different culture. It's a more accepting culture, in the same way that younger women are cool dating older guys. Those younger women who have kids, I'd assume that you're not going to have an issue with it. And let's face it, I see plenty of Westerners dating women who have kids. For some of those single mothers, Western men are a lottery ticket because they're taking a woman who might not really have any prospects for having someone provide for her, since Filipino guys generally don't want to date single moms, from what I've seen. So they go from, I don't have any options, to I have options, and I have options that are rich Western men who are older and will take care of me. That, I noticed that quite a bit. Look, I don't judge. I don't care if all you care about is having a nice, attractive woman to spend your life with, and whether she has a kid or not is irrelevant to you. Hey, live your life, do your thing. For me personally, that's just not what I want. I want a woman who doesn't have any kids. I want to be the focus of her life, at least for a little while. If she has some kids later, okay, that's different. But I get like some time where I am the priority, and I want that. It was interesting to have this conversation with her because as we talked, I just thought, well, I don't see what your argument is for hoping that I'm going to provide for you. Yes, we met, we hit it off, we seemed to really connect. But now I'm looking at that whole situation and realizing it was a setup. And, yes, you're in financial distress. I get that. But, I mean, taking the hard line, you're not my responsibility. If that was my kid, yeah, then that would be a whole different story. She would have been taken care of. Not my kid, not going to be my financial responsibility. That's just not how it works. Just something to be aware of because, I would say, well, I won't put a percentage on it, but let's say most of the women I meet in the Philippines are generally pretty transparent. I've met good women, pretty straightforward, pretty open about it. I've met a couple of crummy women. Basically, they told me they were looking for someone who was a financial provider, and that was a very transactional proposition that I just wasn't interested in. Your experiences may vary. I still encourage everybody to go to the Philippines and check it out for themselves because at the end of the day, if you're looking for a relationship and you're not finding the kind of woman you want in the States, you will probably find it in the Philippines. The wives are in the Philippines. You just got to fly over there and find one. So get your stamps, champs. See for yourself. And, until the next time,